Okay. So once again, I'm saying this as we started the recording. So we do have two types of weights or synchronizations. First of all, we need to understand what do you mean by synchronization. Synchronization is nothing but matching the speed of application with our automation tool. What is our automation tool?
Selenium.
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 So we are trying to match the application speed with the Selenium. So this is called synchronization. Means for an example, I opened, means I entered the username, I entered the password, I click the login button. So now I need to navigate to the home page. If it is taking certain time, I need to match the speed of the application, right? See, now Selenium will perform within the fraction of milliseconds, but I need to click on this button and go to the home page, and then I should wait for that particular certain time. Okay, so matching the both the speeds means the application speed and with the Selenium tool. So this is called synchronization. So we need to, means if you have any issues in this one, those are called as synchronization issues. So to handle the synchronization issues, we do have this particular 5 category of weights. So now this is nothing but thread.slip. Thread.slip, what it will do, I given 5,000, means 5,000 is it's in a milliseconds. So 1,000 milliseconds wait 1 second. Okay, now how many time, means how many seconds this will wait?
5 seconds.
5 seconds it will wait. Now what it will do means I'm waiting for home, means for an example, means after entering the username, after entering the password, then it will enable this particular login button. This is what the functionality. Now I'll keep that thread.sleep equal to 5 seconds, and then I'll try to click on login button. Means I enter the username, I enter the password, and I was halting my execution for 5 seconds. Means whatever it matter, it will wait for 5 seconds of time. So this is called thread.sleep. Means it will halt the execution for 5 seconds, and then it will come here, and then it will trigger the execution. Means it will click the login button. Okay, so this is thread.sleep. We shouldn't use thread.sleep because always you're halting your script. Now, next we will be having implicit wait. What do you mean by implicit wait? See, now I have 10 lines of code. 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 10 lines of code. Now, in the line number 1, I have defined the implicit wait. And implicit wait is a global wait. What do you mean by global wait? For an example, now I have find element username, find element password, find element login. So wherever I'm having this find element and elements, so whenever I'm using this particular methods, at that time, if I have these particular methods, then means on top of this particular method. So here I can dynamically define how much time I need to wait. I need to wait for 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 40 seconds. I given it. Now first it will come and it will check for this username, whether the username is available or not. If it is available, immediately it will go to the next one. If the username object is not available, then it will wait for 20 seconds. And it will not fail this one. It will immediately go to the next step. It will wait for, it will check for the next element. It will go for the next element. For an example, there is a form. In the form, I have 10 links, link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4, like that 10 links are there. Now I wanted to first check the link 1. So first I'll check link 1 present, link 2 present, link 3 present, link 4 present, like that. And if there is any particular statement has been failed, then it will not stop your execution. It will proceed further with your execution, stating that this is failed. Do you remember in TestNG, assertions are there, soft assert and hard assert. So in a soft assert, it will fail and then it will collect at the last. It will not halt your executions. Similarly, implicit wait will not halt your execution if you are not able to identify a particular element, but it will proceed further. And if there is any problem, is for example, this link is not available, this all links are not available, everywhere it will halt for 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds, like that. So this wait statement will applicable for your rest of your code. This is what implicit wait. Whereas this we have explicit wait. So explicit wait is nothing but it will specify for specific line or specific object. Now I have 10 lines here, right? Yeah, I'm verifying it for only username. I'm verifying it for only password. So now what I'll try to do, there is a class in Selenium which is called WebDriver wait, and WebDriver wait equal to new WebDriver. So here I'll passing that 20 seconds I need to wait and the driver object. Now what it will try to do, wait dot until I have 18 conditions in Selenium. So I'll be writing it as expected condition dot presence of element or visibility of element or enable of element, visibility of elements. Like that I have 18 conditions are there. So now what I'll try to do, I'll check that particular condition. I'll keep that presence of that element, and I'll write by XPath the element I'll try to identify. Now what it will try to do, it will first come for the username. It will check whether the username is present or not. If this is present, then it will go, means now we have given defined 30 seconds, right? Now if it enable, means if I'm able to see on the first second itself, it will go for the next line. It will not wait for 30 seconds. On the first second, as soon as you identified the element, it will go for the next line of code. It will not wait for 30 seconds. If you don't identify this particular element, it will hold on for 30 seconds and it will fail that particular test case and it will halt the execution. Implicit wait, it will not, means it will wait for 20 seconds and it will proceed further with the next lines. But whereas explicit wait, it will check that if within that particular stipulated time, if you are able to get that particular element, it will go to the next line. If not, even implicit wait also, it will go to the next line. But here implicit wait is for group of lines, whereas it is for a specific element. You can say that group of elements or specific lines of code. Here it will have for a specific element, only one element, one line of code you will be having it. So now I'll be defining it as 30 seconds. If it element identifies in 4th second, so it will proceed, means it will proceed for the next, or else it will wait for 30 seconds and it will fail. So this is how explicit wait will work. And there would be another wait called fluent wait. What is this fluent wait is, always, Missy, now I'm saying that 30 seconds. I'm coming back once again for the explicit wait. I'll explain you another topic. In explicit wait, I given 30 seconds, right? There would be a default polling time. Polling time means, for example, what it will do means, it will come to the DOM. DOM is nothing but our HTML page. Always it will come to the DOM and it will check whether this element is present or not. I'm sorry. I come to the login button. I'm just verifying for login condition, saying that presence of this login button. Every 30 seconds, every 0.5 second, it will come to the DOM and check whether this element is present or not. Now I have given here 30 seconds, right? So how many times it will hit the DOM? 60 times it will poll the DOM. Poll the DOM means it will come to the DOM and it will check whether this particular DOM is present or not. So whether this element is present in the DOM or not. Whether this element is present in the DOM or not, it will check. So if the element is present, it will proceed further and it will go on. So now the default polling time of an explicit wait is 0.5 second. And this is default and we can't change the default time of this. So, and even we can't define. So that's where when you are writing the code, you will not talk about the default waiting time at all. But whereas in the fluent wait, I wanted to change this polling time. Now I wanted to wait for 30 seconds and default polling time, I'll keep it as a 5 seconds. So how many times I'll poll the DOM? Guys, how many?
Okay, Chris, sorry for maybe a basic question. What is DOM here?
HTML file.
DOM means you'll be having your HTML page, right? The HTML page. So that is called document object model.
Okay.
So the HTML page is called as a DOM. Means your login page is there. In login page, you have username and password. And password button, sorry, login button should be enabled. So it will first come to the DOM and check whether the login button is present or not. So that is what the condition you are trying to write it, right?
Okay.
So that is what the DOM. So always it will come here and hit it over there. So now here 30 seconds is the overall time and 5 seconds is your polling time. So now how many times it will hit the DOM?
150 times.
Come on. So 30 divided by 5.
Oh, sorry.
So how many times it will? 6 times it will hit the polling time. Here, how I asked the question in a written way. Now my point in explicit weight, every 0.5 time it will hit. So now I have 30 seconds. How many times it will hit? So then point means 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds divided by 0.5. Then yeah, here the answer should be 60 times, right?
Yeah.
Same here. So now here I increase this 0.5 to 5 seconds. So I'm giving my polar means a polar job. So every 5 seconds means 5 seconds it would be idle. But whereas in explicit wait, every 0.5 seconds it will go and hit. But whereas here I'm saying that 5 seconds you wait and then hit the DOM and check for the elements of presence of the element, because there is no point every 0.2 you hit it, because I know that after 5th second only it will come. So it will wait for 5 seconds and it will hit it. Now if you see here,
Sorry to interrupt. I mean, how did the 60 come into the picture? How? 60? Hello?
you're talking about this 60.
This 60, yeah. How?
We have 30 seconds
Okay.
overall time, Arjun. Now
Yeah.
it will hit for every 0.5 times. So how many times it will hit the DOM?
Okay, so it would be 30 into 0.5.
Yes.
30
will get,
divided 0.5.
30.5, that is
Okay.
so now 30
Okay,
divided
just the
by
way.
0.5,
Okay.
if you have divided it, it
Achha.
will get the 60, right?
60. Okay.
Same way here, means now we increase the 0.5 to 5 seconds. How we can
Okay.
increase? In the explicit weight, we can't increase that one.
Right.
So in the
Okay.
fluent weight, I can increase that one. That is what the difference between the fluent weight and the explicit weight. And not only the time definitions we are giving it and polling time. Here, what we can give is, we can ignore the exceptions. Means even though if you got the error, you can proceed further with the execution. Then you can ask me a question, Chris, even you are saying the same thing for the implicit weight, right? What is the difference between this? See, that implicit means ignore weights also. Specific error I can ignore. So this error I can ignore means if we got any other error, it will stop the execution. But implicit weight, whatever it we get it, you can proceed further. So that is what the differences between the implicit weight, explicit weight, and the fluent weight. I'll just show you the implementation parts also, so that it will be very much clear to get understanding. So weights in Selenium. Actually, if you open the document, you can have the document which this guys has been shared. You can see that particular in that document, you can have these complete links. If you see here, implicit weight, always it defines only once. None of the places you will be using the weights again.
Okay.
But whereas explicit weight, wherever there is an object, so now see explicit weight will be defined as WebDriver weight, weight equal to new WebDriver weight, and here you'll give the timeout and the driver reference. So now here you are defining it, you are passing the driver and the time. Now weight, if you see here, it will be specified for each and every element. See now wait until expected condition, visibility of this particular element located. So now for this element, it will wait. Every element it will wait for it. Okay, now if you go and see the fluent weight, if you see here, the fluent weight will have the fluent weight class, and here we have the polling means the timeout. So whether the 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and what is a polling time, we will be seeing it, and ignore the exception. What are the ignoring exceptions we wanted to ignore? If you see here, the time is 30 seconds. Every 5 seconds you need to poll it, and if you are getting this no such element exception, you can ignore this and you can proceed further. So that is what we are trying to say with the fluent weights. If you wanted to have the polling timer, so usually we will not use a fluent weight and we will not use the implicit weight. We shouldn't use the implicit weight. So we'll use only the explicit weights. And if you use the explicit weight, what are the different type of errors you'll be getting it? If you use implicit weight, what are the errors you are getting it? So those means we'll have 4 exceptions when we use with the explicit weight. I'll share you the articles. You go back to that and then see, because by seeing the exception itself, we can understand that this exception has been thrown by the WebDriver weight class. So this is an implicit weight exception. You need to understand that. So that's how the 3 differences between the implicit weight and the explicit weight happens. So now if you see here, the difference table is also there. Implicit weight applicable for all lines of code or all elements in the script, but explicit weight applicable for only one specific element. I told you, right? If you write 100 lines, if you define implicit weight once, for all dot find element and find elements, it will be captured. But whereas explicit weight, it will define for only specific element. And the specific elements in the explicit weight, we will be giving the specific condition. In implicit weight, we will not give the conditions. So these are the basic differences you need to understand, because if you don't understand the implicit weight and explicit weight, you're gone. Because complete Selenium, you need to know the synchronization speeds to be matched. Actually, Selenium means at one point of time, there is a failure in this Selenium. So that's the reason there are other tools into the market, Protractor, and then we do have WebDriver IO, all other tools. So what it will do means Protractor and all other things. So the basic tool for the Protractor was built on top of Selenium only. On Selenium, he constructed some extra wrapper classes, then that is called Protractor, to handle the synchronization issues. Same way for the WebDriver IO also. WebDriver IO also built on the Selenium. Many tools are building on top of Selenium because there are few issues. How to handle those issues, they have been taken it. See, for example, we do have React.js application, Angular applications are there. So identifying the Angular application, it is little bit difficult in the Selenium, but it is achievable. So for that one, they use the Protractor. Angular applications and React.js applications, because they do have this synchronization issues. They have synchronous, asynchronous, and lots of things. I don't want to get into that. So that is what the basic differences you need to understand.